Test. All right, everybody. All right. Today is a glorious day. Today is Juneteenth. Today is Juneteenth, everybody. This is a Stephanie. Come up here, please. All right. So for all of you who don't know, me and Stephanie got married May 25th. So today is one of those days. You know, we do Juneteenth every year. This is about our 7th year. And we were really, since we got married on May 25th, we were really going to scale it down this year. But when the governor's office called and said, hey, they were coming down this year, we were like, oh man, now we got to roll out the red buckets. but it's really wonderful for us to be able to present Juneteenth this year. And I just like for my wonderful wife to have the guys in color guard come present the colors.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, please acknowledge the American Legion East St. Louis Veterans Memorial Post 2505 as they present the colors. you've shown up and shown out. And I want to bring light to that wonderful new memorial that you've put into our state park. Thank you very much for that. We love you always. Here's the post 2505. Now, as you know, Juneteenth is very, very important. This is the day that we actually realize freedom in our country. This is our first time. And I want you all to know, too, that Pennsylvania just passed Juneteenth as a holiday. And with us, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. And with us having our lieutenant governor here and our state representative and our other dignitaries here, we're going to keep the pressure on our POTUS, because every other culture has a holiday except for our African American population. It's important when we're talking about equitable solutions. It's important when we're talking about jobs. It's important specifically to the 114th district when we're talking about violence, when we're talking about crime, safety, when we're talking about employment opportunities. It's very important that our United States government continues on with those words that came from what? Illinois, the land of Lincoln. That's right. So our President Lincoln was a lawyer, just like our Lieutenant Governor. I already looked it up. So we really need your help to get Donald Trump to understand just how important it is to actually let us feel and be equitable and have those opportunities. We're not talking about handouts, we're talking about empowerment. And we are so empowered and blessed to have Representative LaToya Greenwood. She's so awesome, I love you. I love you so much. But I'm going to stop now because I have someone more important to bring up. And that is our brand new Honorable Mayor, Robert Eastern III. He's not new to the city. He's been working and making a difference in our lives for over 10 years now, sir. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. And I just want to say I thank the good Lord for blessing us with a good day, and it's cool in June. You know, all this time I thought Juneteenth was the celebration of my birthday, since it's June 13th. So when I did my research, I found out it wasn't about me being a gentleman. So I'm happy about that. So on that note, I'll give you greetings and salutations to the city of East St. Louis on behalf of our citizens and on behalf of our city councilman, clerk, treasurer, and all those staff, the chief and assistant chief. I thank you for all for coming. I thank you for the symbol of fellowship here on such a glorious occasion. It warms my heart to see us to come together for a momentous occasion here in June. You know, and I'm very excited. I thank you for the diligence of the 7 years that you have been putting this together. I understand that, you know, doing these things is kind of hard, but the hardest part about anything is getting started and staying focused. And you've done that, you've shown that, and as long as I'm here, I will be here to support. I think our chief and the assistant chief may have a few words they told me they didn't want to say, so I invite them up to come up at this time. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. On behalf of the East St. Louis Police Department and our administration, thank you all for coming out. This is my first Juneteenth event. Hope it won't be my last. This is, like the mayor said, it just feels good to see a lot of us get together for something positive. And we need a lot of positivity in the city of East St. Louis right now. And we need everybody's help that's sitting here right now, along with 1,000 others. Try to make a change in the city of East St. Louis. Let's start from the youth to our city citizens. We all need to pitch in now and give a hand to stop what we consider as a sad time in St. Louis. We're going to bring it back. Myself, Mayor Easton, and Chief Allen all going to get together, and we're going to try to make a definite difference.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Assistant Chief Victoria Island. U.S. Marshals Street back ranch. But I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna be brief. I'm gonna dedicate myself to the city, council members, my mayor, his main thing is making these streets safe. We talk about every corner, we talk about every inner streets. So we're gonna dedicate ourselves to this, and we've started something already in reference to these street corners. It's very important that we need to clear it out in the field.
That's right.
Okay? We love you, and thanks.
Once again, thank you for inviting us again, and I look forward to next year.
All right.
It gives me great pleasure. And actually, this time I have a voice. Because the first time I met her, she was running, and I had lost my voice because I was cheering for my daughter in the track meet, and I could barely talk. And she was like, "I can't understand you." So I hope she can understand me as I call her name. It gives me great honor to announce that our Lieutenant Governor, Ms. Juliana Stratton, please come forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I want to make sure I'm not too loud in this mic. I have a big, loud voice. But thank you so much, Mayor Eastern, for that introduction. I am glad to hear your voice, and I'm also so proud of your daughter, who I had a chance to meet today, who is a track star in the making, and so it was an honor for me to meet her. Thank you, Stephanie, for the invitation to be here today, and the great work that you and Terrence are doing. Congratulations on your recent marriage.
All right.
And I also, of course, want to thank Representative Greenwood for your leadership and the Community Development and Sustainable Solutions for all of your efforts in planning today's event. It feels amazing to be back here in East St. Louis as we celebrate such an important day. Many of you did meet me and have a chance to connect with me during the campaign, and everybody said, "Don't let that be the last time that you see me." And I said, "Oh no, I'll be back to East St. Louis. I might get to a point where you all are sick of me." So I'm so honored to be here today. Today, of course, we commemorate Black freedom and celebration, but we also lift up our accomplishments and triumphs. And it's not lost on me, as your Lieutenant Governor and our state's first Black Lieutenant Governor in history, being here, sharing brief remarks, just holds a different kind of weight. It is because I understand that I, and many of us, are only here because we stand on the shoulders of our ancestors that were enslaved, ancestors that even after being freed were not truly liberated, ancestors that faced violence, rejection, and abuse simply because of the way that they looked. Yet, as I run down this list, it might feel like not much has changed. But together, we are achieving and we are working together for true liberation for our people. It is because of the shoulders that we stand on that we have an obligation to continue fighting. And as Dr. Maya Angelou taught us, we have an obligation to continue rising. She taught us that even though we have had a past that is rooted in pain, we rise. That despite the efforts to put us down, we rise. And that we are the dream and the hope of our ancestors that were once enslaved. And so naturally, we rise. And that is why, as your Lieutenant Governor and working alongside Governor Pritzker, we are committed to ensuring that we have equity, justice, and opportunity across our state. As some of you may already know, my office is leading a new initiative called the Justice, Equity, and Opportunity Initiative, and we're going to do just that. The JEO initiative marks the beginning of Illinois creating a justice system that better reflects our values. It also marks the beginning of Illinois seeking to bring a keener focus throughout state government about how a lack of opportunity and inequities can hurt families and indeed whole communities, and too often are at the root of how people enter the pipeline to our justice system. Building off the work of our partners, we have learned that we cannot have real justice without addressing equity and opportunity. And we can no longer afford to speak of justice just in terms of policing and jails and prison. But when we talk about justice, we have to talk about affordable housing and being safe in our communities and access to health care and barriers to employment and quality education. This is justice. This is how we work towards true liberation. Now, as we work to move our state forward, the Justice, Equity, and Opportunity Initiative will work to create opportunity for all, especially families and communities which have suffered decades of disinvestment and communities whose voices have too often gone unheard. For example, you all know that we just passed a bill legalizing the adult use of cannabis, but we made sure in passing that bill that there was a strong emphasis on equity. Equity means that this legislation emphasizes and includes components focused on repairing the harm that the failed war on drugs and decades of policies that have caused mass incarceration. These policies have had a disparate and detrimental impact, especially on our Black communities. So this legislation prioritizes public safety, reducing the over-reliance on incarceration, and reinvests in communities all across our state, communities like East St. Louis, Illinois. My office will oversee a grant program that will do just that. We will reinvest money in communities all across our state. And we will also ensure that entrepreneurs of color have access to capital and resources so they can be active participants in this new economy that the legalization of adult use cannabis will create. Not just as employees, by the way, but as owners of businesses. Governor Pritzker and I believe that we cannot have real access to opportunity without also ensuring that everyone, and I mean every child, has access to a quality education. We cannot have true justice without ensuring that we can all have access to opportunity and entrepreneurship and quality jobs on a path to prosperity.
Right.
And finally, we cannot have equity, justice, or opportunity if there is not safety and peace in our communities. And I just want to thank the chief and the assistant chiefs and others who are here today from the police force who I know are committed to making sure that we have peace in our communities. How many of you know that ending violence in and of itself is justice? That every child being safe to play in our streets, that is justice. That is true liberation. So on this Juneteenth celebration, I not only join you in celebrating our triumphs and achievements and to commemorate the legacy and the sacrifices of our ancestors, but I'm here to continue my commitment to all of you, to continue working on behalf of our communities and with all of you at the center of what we do. And together, I know with your help, we will keep rising. East St. Louis, thank you for having me. And I would now like to introduce to you my good friend and my soror, as member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, and an incredible advocate for her district, Representative LaToya Greenwood.
Thank you, Lieutenant Governor Stratton. We are honored to have you celebrate with us today. Thank you to our Honorable Mayor and all of our dignitaries. I see you, Chairman Frank Smith, our Board President, Mr. R.C. Clark. Thank you so much. Our Chief, Chief Perry, thank you too also. Thank you to Stephanie and Terrence for once again reminding us about our freedom and what Juneteenth means to us. I was trying to remember if I have missed a celebration. I may have missed one. I don't know. But I'm honored to once again be here with all of you today. Juneteenth for me is about freedom. And it is also about unity and the things that when we come together to represent our community, which we love, which we live in, which we are raising our children in, educating our children in, this is what Juneteenth and the celebration means to me. I am proud and honored to represent the 114th district and also to be homegrown and still living in the city of East St. Louis. And so when I meet with Governor Pritzker and when I talk to Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, they know what my primary concern is, and it is about the city of East St. Louis. I tell people all the time to lift up the Metro East area. We have to start right here in East St. Louis to recognize and to uplift the least of those among us. It's very important, and I want to say it again, the least of those among us. Those who have been left out, those who have been voiceless. It is my duty to represent them when I serve in the 101st General Assembly. And so I have tried to do that with pieces of legislation. I've been honored to serve with Juliana when she was State Representative Stratton representing the 5th District of Chicago. And she was very instrumental in legislation that dealt with justice reform, criminal justice reform. That was her passion. And so when she talks about social justice and equity and opportunity, that is for all communities that are black and brown that have been left behind. And I have been intentional this session to work with our new mayor, to work with our chairman and other elected officials in trying to, with our capital bill, bring money directly to the city of East St. Louis that will help to fund our education, that will help to improve our housing situation, that will help to grow economic opportunities within our city. And so, again, for me, it's just about representing the city the best way I can, the city that I love, and I'm honored to be here again to celebrate with all of you Juneteenth celebration. Thank you. And so at this time, I want to bring up my chairman of the East St. Louis Democratic Club, and that's the Honorable Chairman Frank Smith.
To Lieutenant Governor Stratton, to our mayor.
All right.
Mayor, part for the people and passion to change. To our police chief, just glad to hear those words that you just uttered about taking back our corners, which is very important to us.
That's right.
To the dignitary of our president of the school board. Come up, Mr. Clark, come up with me. I have.
Mr. Clark. All right.
I would be remiss if I did not recognize these gentlemen here. Because these are the ones that you just elected to say that you want to turn this town around. And we've got to be able to do that through our elected officials as well as the people that are in the community.
That's right.
Mr. Clark has a mission, and I'll let him talk for just a few minutes, and I'll let Harry talk for a few minutes, and I'll come back and wrap it up, if it's okay with you.
Yes, yes. Yes, sir.
Mr. Clark.
First, I'd like to say good afternoon to everybody. And I had some issues to talk about, but I see my state representative kind of went through it for me. And something that you know that's from the school district issue, that's one of my main goals, so I'll let you, my chairman, and the lieutenant governor, you guys get together and talk about it. But my main thing is safety for the children of the world, but sure enough for the kids in East St. Louis.
All right.
I see a lot of things happening with the young kids, and I'm really not happy about it. But I'm sure we can do a lot about it. I thank you very much, Chief and Assistant Chief, for the words that you gave and the lecture you gave me. And let me back up again. I want to say thanks God first for being here. Thank God for all of you to be able to come. Stephanie, you guys have been real good. I mean, I remember when you first brought it to me in regulatory affairs, and you had a great idea, and I see it moving forward. So I know the blessings will be poured down on us, and I thank God just for you guys, okay?
All right.
Thank you. My name is Harry Hollingsworth. I'm the Township Clerk of East St. Louis. And I'd like to just say to Juliana Stratton, our Lieutenant Governor, we need help at our Township, Lieutenant Governor. We got seniors, we got kids, we're trying to bring them together and make sure that the grown-up won't be scared of the kids and the kids can collaborate with the senior citizens. We need that so desperately. We are new administration, and we're trying to do the best we can for East St. Louis, and we know that you all is looking at us, and we just asking for your blessing, your help, because we need you like you need us, and we can work together to make East St. Louis a better place. Thank you.
All right, here.
I just wanted them to speak for a moment. I want to recognize my brothers and sisters, the ones who started out with us together, and that have worked very hard to put this Juneteenth together, and that's Mr. and Mrs. Terrence.
Yes.
And Stephanie. Do I say, who is Terrence? Who?
Taylor.
Okay, Terrence Taylor and Mrs. Taylor. For so long they've worked with this Juneteenth, and I really appreciate what they've done here. But I've got to give a special thanks to our state representative,
Yes.
Victoria Greenwood, and to our senator. He's not here, Mr. Christopher Bell.
Yes.
I've been in politics for the last 48 years. We've sent people to Springfield over and over and over again. But in my lifetime, this is the first time that we've seen the package that they brought back to East St. Louis. They brought summer jobs back to East St. Louis. They brought demolition money back to East St. Louis. They brought activity money back to East St. Louis.
Yes.
I want to thank them. They brought demolition money back to East St. Louis.
Yes.
Where the mayor's going to be able to tear down at least 400 houses. I want to thank you again for what you've done. This is the first time in my lifetime, which is 48 years, that I've had a state representative and a state senator that have done what they've done here in this
Isn't that awesome?
I also know this, and I'm going to be as brief as I can. I see my members of the post that's sitting over there. You guys did a great job there. I'm chaplain of the Post 2505, and I'd like to also recognize them. Wherever these little guys are showing out, ain't they?
Yeah.
Stand up, gang. Give them another hand. Thank you, guys. All right. There's a lot I would love to say, but I think you covered a lot of it. My heart is heavy today. It's happy, but it's heavy today. It's heavy because our people are still staying in the houses. It's got bars at the door.
That's right.
It's heavy because our people are staying in houses because they're scared to go to the store.
That's right.
It's heavy because of the situation that exists when I see young kids shot down in the street. When I see these little teddy bears that they put in the spot where they are. That's why my heart is heavy.
Yes.
I'm glad to be free. But what is freedom? Are we so free that we forgot what freedom is? That we just saying that freedom is that we can do anything we want to do, walk down the street, disregard the law, do whatever we want to do, curse in front of everyone, wear our pants down around our waist. Is that freedom? Is that what our ancestors fought for?
No,
How
sir.
free is free?
Something that
People tell me I'm free, but how free is free? It's free having those jail houses up there stacked with our people that don't get any visit. Is that freedom? What is freedom? It's freedom that all the jobs and things are moved out of this community and leaving our people here to suffer. Is that freedom? I'm glad that this is Juneteenth, 154 years.
That's right.
But we become free to forget what freedom is all about. Forget about the struggle that the brothers and sisters had when they first came to this land. The struggle they had to put up, the beatings that they had to take, The ones that had to fight in order to register you to go to the poll, that you would have a right to vote. And some of you right now tell me my vote don't count. It counts. All you have to do is go to the poll and pull the lever. It counts. Yes, we are a new regime here. This is the first time that we won the governor, we won the state rep, we won all the judges. Nobody when our ticket was lost. We came right back, put together the heart for the people, passion for the change, and we won every office that we went at. All 10, we didn't lose one. But see, this is just the beginning of the end. We still got a job to do. We're new, we're in office. The mayor's in office only been a month. And everyone already is climbing on his back, wanting to know what they can get. We've got to look at the long term, brothers. I believe under the administration of J.B. Bristol, Lieutenant Governor Juneteenth Stratton, I believe that we're on the right road for recovery here in East St. Louis. We got here look at the long run. Just because we're here now doesn't mean that you're getting everything now. But if we could just take step by step by step. Hear what Mr. Clark is standing here. We've got a school district that has a dissent decree on it that don't allow the people that we elected in the school district to make the decisions. They got some guy that comes in here from out of town and sit there and make decisions for our kids. Is that free? We need to remove that dissent decree so people we elect can govern us. That dissent decree is hindering us on our school board. There were some people that said they wanted to make sure things are going right. I don't think things are going right when you put a principal in the school district that's not caring for the schools. You put athletic directors in the school district that wouldn't let our track team run in a championship. I can go on and on and on, but I think I need to wrap that up. That dissent decree, Lieutenant Governor, is very important to us. We need to remove it. We need to get that off our school district. We got a new president, we got a new board, and we're willing to do what it takes in order to make sure this happens. We know that education is going to be very important to us, but we've got to work with the kids and the parents in order to make this thing work. Doesn't do us any good to try to improve our grades. When we try to improve, they got to go home to an empty house or a crackhead mother or someone that can't guide them. We got to work with the parents as well as the kids to make sure we make that turnaround. And we're saying we're going to do that. Again, thank you for allowing us to come out. I know I took more time than I should have taken, but I thank everyone that's here. And again, our ticket says, heart for the people and a passion for change. Thank you.
All right. Good job. Good job.
It is a beautiful occasion. I want to express my felicitations to our Lieutenant Governor and to Dr. Moore, to our state representative, and everybody. But there is someone here today that caused us to breathe. So I would like for everybody to stand, and we're going to pray collectively. The Bible tells me in Thessalonians that one person can put 1,000 demons to flight, but 2 people can put 10,000 demons to flight. So what we're going to do as a city, we're going to pray collectively, and we're going back elementary. Y'all repeat after me. I know y'all can do it. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, power, glory, forever and ever. Increase and overflow on East St. Louis. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. I said increase and overflow on East St. Louis. You may be seated. I wanted to do that. I wanted all of us to pray collectively. How many know teamwork make the dream work? So at this time, I'm going to sit down. I'm Dr. Butler. I'm pastor here in the city, and I'm also a police chaplain for the East St. Louis Police Department. And also I have a young man that I'm about to introduce, and I'm kind of nervous because he's my mentor. Y'all said, well, he's a baby. The Bible said the child should lead the way. All right. This young man I had the privilege of training him. He's an ordained minister. He just did a wedding. I would like for the people that he married, I would like for them to stand. He did a wedding for them. I had to walk in the back and a tear was in my eye because I trained that young man and I watched him. I thought maybe he didn't mess up one time. Y'all say amen. Amen. And I want to introduce to you ordained minister. He is the president of Positive Youth Turnaround. He is a young minister. He is the king of East St. Louis. King of Juneteenth. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the son and present to others, Minister Iman Shepherd. 16 years old, ordained minister. I love you, man.
Good afternoon, giving all praises to God who's the head of our life. Lieutenant Governor Latoya Greenwood, Ms. Bush, R.C. Clark, and everyone in their respectful place. I just want to say I'm glad to be here. This is my second year being the king of East St. Louis. I've been doing this is my third year. First year I was the youngest minister in East St. Louis. That's right. I just want to say, East St. Louis, I heard a lot of people saying, let's get away from East St. Louis, it's not safe. But they're not doing nothing trying to make it safe. You say what our city gonna do for us, but what you gonna do to help your city? Encourage one another, don't let us down. Help parents teach your children everything. Even if you don't see, if you're at your child, just help them. Each child needs help. And I also want to say, we free. But at the same time, y'all not happy to be free. Because if you was free, we would stop killing each other, hurting each other, disrespecting each other. Because if you really wanted to be free, you want to do the same thing our ancestors had to go through. Nah, that's all I wanted to say. But I just want to thank each one of you for coming out. Thank you for having me today. God bless.
I love this brother here. Yes. We felt that there was nobody purer or nobody that we even could think of to have marry us, man, other than you, man. Yeah. So, without further ado, I have a brother that I'd like to introduce to do General Order Number 3. And if anyone doesn't know what General Order Number 3 is, General Order Number 3 was the order that Abraham Lincoln gave to General Granger when he went to Galveston, Texas to free the last of the slaves on June 19, 1865. So this brother mentors with me. I mean, he's a great brother. We got programs together. Hey man, come on up here and get this mic, Dr. Brian Moore.
first heard about the General Order number 3, honestly, I thought it was about 6 pages long. I said, yeah, I can do 6 pages from my brothers and sisters, of course. 6 pages long. But then I looked it up. I was embarrassed to see it was it ended up being something like this. Lady Governor is less than a minute long, but of course it's powerful. Yes, it is. Everybody say with me, loving or nothing.
Loving or nothing.
Loving or nothing.
Loving or nothing.
We are a fear-based community. We are. We view each other through fear. False evidence appearing real. All of our actions, reactions, and responses to one another is filtered through fear. These are the things, of course, that the dignitaries, such as ourselves and my beautiful Lady Governor, Madam Governor, and all of the representatives. I'm so happy to see you. I need my daughter to see this. She's so natural. Look at that. That's one of the sisters on a move. Pre-Civil War, 1860, 285 slaves, or 285,000 slaves managed to acquire less than 2% of America's wealth. 2018, that number is still the same. We still only have less than 2% of America's wealth. What Juneteenth should be is a measuring point. We should measure ourselves from where we began to where we are, to find out and to discuss whether or not we're making true progress or not, and then to adjust if we're not making progress. Adjust, because we haven't adjusted. We've been doing this and talking and speaking and having these rallies, but we have not adjusted. We have not. We are fear-based. First thing we must figure out is how to become competitive in the system in which we live. It is systematic racism. It is. It is. And it is killing us. Our children are leaving high school without knowing how to compete. So of course when they can't compete, they become criminal. And that is our responsibility. Now I'm going to read the General Order number 3. Now I want y'all to know, that the guy who read it didn't sound like this, right? Let me hear it say that. That's right. He didn't sound like this. He probably sounded like this. General Order number 3. Madam Governor, if I had a girlfriend in the audience, I would have lost it right then. I'm sorry, baby, whoever you are. All right. General Order number 3. The people are informed that in ordinance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves. And the connection hereto existing between them become that between employer and hired labor. The freed are advised to remain at their present homes and work for wages. They are informed that they will not be allowed to collect at military posts and that they will not be supported in idleness, either there or elsewhere. That is General Order number 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I want you all to realize this is the great-grandson of Nat Turner. So to know 154 years later that we have a person of color announcing freedom, that means much. It means much that each and every one of you came out today for our opening ceremony. Rain would not have stopped President Lincoln from freeing us, nor does it stop us from bringing attention to the great day. It was an honor to have you join us today. I cannot let you leave without saying, if you want to go fast, go alone. And if you want to go far, you go together. Lieutenant Governor Juliana Stratton, you came here today and you went with us on our journey. And you didn't let the rain stop you either. And we will love you always for that. More than we already do love you. You are a trailblazer. You are an inspiration. And we'll follow you to the moon, okay? And without further ado, oh, I cannot forget to thank everyone who came and gave your time. Island, thank you, sir. New police chief, thank you so much, sir. School district, oh yes, baby. We love you too. Okay, post 2505. American Legion, time to retire these colors. Thank you. Who? Again, thank you all. Now we're about to turn up for the music fest.
Juliana has about 2 minutes before she leaves, so we wanted to get a picture with her before she left, and Latoya. So, could you come up with my please?
Oh, absolutely. You always think of
Come on, Dr. Brian Moore, Monster Man, actually, get on up in there, please, chief, come on. You're afraid, look, see, I still call you that since high school. Okay, yeah, that's why. Okay. Monster Man, actually, got representatives up there.
Stand next to